Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Gotta have some of that morning energy that we all have, right? I want to take the time to thank you all for investing your time today and being here for our Small Business Forum here at the Brannon Center. We're happy that we have you here. Some of you are business owners, some of you are our partners. And we're just very elated to have you here. Certainly want to bring you greetings from our mayor, Mayor Owen, and certainly our city commissioners. And welcome you to this particular event today. And we're very happy to have you here. And also bring you greetings from our city manager and our assistant city manager. And I want to take the time to thank the following folks here for helping us to plan this particular forum today. Debbie Mills to my left here, Phil Vesky, our assistant to the city manager and public information officer, Irma Terry, our community resource coordinator, and certainly Ms. Carmen Marshner, our City Hotline New Business Coordinator, who is in the back there, Carmen. And also thanks to all of our NSB departments, our Economic Development Advisory Board members, who I see some here, the businesses for your promotion and support of this event. I know that we are in unprecedented times, but that's why this forum is all the more important. And I didn't take the time to introduce myself. I'm Chris Edwards. I'm the CRA Economic Development Director for the city. Recently took on that post back in mid-August, succeeding the illustrious Tony Otti, that many of you may know, who's now retired. And so we're very happy to be able to succeed him at this time in our local economy and in our great city. Really want to give you a quick overview of how we got here. Why are we here? Why are you investing your time here at the Brannon Center today for a small business forum? Really, it is a response to the New Smyrna Beach small business owners. We see many of those wonderful business owners in our room today who approached the city about ways in which we could assist the small business community in achieving sustainability and economic growth. And that's one of the things that we are excited about doing here at New Smyrna Beach. We value our small businesses because we do realize that they truly are the backbone of our local economy, and we are always looking for ways in which we can work with those business owners, and that's you here in this room as well. And there are some who may be joining us virtually through Zoom. Also, there was a collaborative public and private sector partnership that we are responding to, and the goal here today is to achieve some type of action plan. This is more interactive than it is simply informational about marketing strategies or things that the city has ideas on, but we want to hear from you. We have equipment set up so where toward the end of our forum today, you'll have an opportunity to address the panel or address me particularly with questions that you have as small business owners for us and ways in which you want the city of New Smyrna Beach to help your small business that is achievable in a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely way. We did survey before this event, and small business community that we did survey, the majority of those returns came back. We want topics on marketing strategies, city services, policies, things that impact New Smyrna Beach businesses, and also capital resources. So today we respond, and we respond merely to initiate what we hope will be a ongoing opportunity for small businesses to take the lead, and we continue to encourage and to promote small businesses in our community. So hopefully this is an effort to kind of get the conversation going, get the discussion going, Don't feel like we're just going to inform you to no end, but we're going to also hear back from you. So please be prepared to do that toward the end. I want to take the time to recognize our partners, the Visit New Smyrna Beach, Area Visitors Bureau, Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center, Volusia County, Florida Economic Development Team. And here's our agenda. If you have not picked up one up front, here is a visual for you. I'm actually in the moment of greetings and forum overview right now. But our first presenter will be none other than Debbie Mills, our Executive Director for Visit New Smyrna Beach. After Debbie will come Michael Zaharios, who's a Program Director for Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center. And then we'll have a presentation from Volusia County regarding COVID-related capital resources in Volusia County through Helga Van Eckert, our Director of Economic Development for Volusia County. And then from 9:10 until 10 a.m., we plan to have an idea exchange where I talk about what the city has done from a small business and economic development standpoint and ways in which we want to hear from you on how we can do that better. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our first presenter. Thank you.
I'm going to take my mask off. Ooh, I've got to lower that. Good morning. I'm Debbie Mills, Executive Director of New Smyrna Beach Visitor Bureau. Thanks for taking your time today. We want to share a lot of great products with you that can help you. Many of them are free. So we want to try to engage with you and see what we can do to help you. First, I'd like to introduce the team. I've got Roberta Shops, the CEO of Relibrand Advertising, and Eleni Gill from ITI Digital. Roberto does our advertising, Eleni does our digital social media, so you'll be hearing from both of those shortly. I do want to mention Elizabeth Gifford from our office is in the back. If you need anything, you can chat with Elizabeth. We've got our table over there with a bunch of collateral. We do have a board member here from the Southeast Volusia Advertising Authority, Donna Ruby. She's our treasurer. And I think Lily Scheller-Hawtrey was coming, and I don't know that she's here right now, but she's on our board as well. So I'll just get into it, and in the essence of time, okay, let's make sure that, here we go. Can that be adjusted at all? It looks like it's not. There we go, okay. Okay, well, hopefully you can see all that. So we're gonna talk today about tourism in New Smyrna Beach, partner benefits, Pledge to Protect, and the One Planet Living program. So tourism in New Smyrna Beach, we're going to talk about the numbers, the research, our visitor profile numbers, which we think can really help you know the economic impact that's coming into the area, and then a look forward. Okay, sorry. This is, Chris, is there any way to fix the slides? They're kind of not centered very well. Oh, you're working on it? Okay. Okay. All righty, that looks better, good job. Okay, key performance indicators is what drives what we do. We try to track everything through our research and a lot of our other key performance indicators on our website, social media, meetings, incentives, anything that we may do. This slide here shows our occupancy. This is for our current fiscal year, which started October 1 of 2019, and it ended on September 30th of 2020. So what you can see is you'll see October through September. This chart is pretty liberating in a sense that you can see exactly what happened in March and April when COVID struck. We started getting calls from our partners around March 11th that cancellations were coming through, and that's when we knew COVID was real serious. We were down 32% in occupancy in March, and then in April it tanked 85% down. And then through the months, we actually 31%, and then we ended up closing September 10% up. This is amazing because our National Association research, our industry calls had told us, figure 10% occupancy through the end of the year and you'll be lucky. So considering we did all this, we're feeling very blessed. The light blue lines with the green arrows or the red or green arrows are this current year versus last year. Another key indicator that we look at is the average daily rate and the RevPAR. We're lucky that we have a lot of savvy hoteliers in the room, because one thing you don't want to do in a crisis, and I know this is hard because you want to fill your property, but is to lower your rate. Because once folks get used to paying a low rate at your property, it's very hard to get that back up. So our average daily rate exceeded, in most cases, last year's average rate. RevPAR is actually the revenue per available room at a property, and that actually shows the healthiness of a hotel. So you can see that this is kind of, it's strong until about March, and then it went under, and that's because occupancy wasn't 100%. And then the next slide shows us just an overall picture of this year compared to last. And you can see the light blue area there, the 9% down. We're really pleased to say that we concluded our fiscal year 19-20 being only 9% down, which is, in my book, a major miracle. And I gotta say that a lot of our organic platforms have worked very, very well for us. And shortly you're gonna hear about our recovery plan and what we've been doing and some of the great things that you can get engaged with. I'm gonna turn this over to Roberto, and he's gonna talk about some further research and some other great things that you can get involved with.
Thanks, Debbie, and good morning, everyone. As Debbie pointed out, we've been very fortunate by our numbers. One thing also to keep in mind is we're also seeing, especially in September and in August, if you recall, Hurricane Dorian affected our numbers. So keep in mind that that's what creates that difference. But still, it's important to keep that in mind, because as we look at some research moving forward, we see some softness, as we say, in the market. This is a chart from a new tool that we're using called Key Data, and it looks at the condo occupancy, which, as you know, it's the bulk of our product in this destination. And what this chart shows is bookings, if you will, for the period. The dark line is current bookings. The lighter line is the bookings from last year, so it's a comparison. The good news, as you can see, hopefully you can see, is that looking forward from November 1st through the end of first quarter, we're currently, that blue line, that solid line, is above the lighter line. And so that sort of speaks to what Debbie was showing us, that occupancy is higher. Unfortunately, as we get past Christmas or the end of the year, you see that light line sort of spikes up, and is much wider difference between this year and last year. That's explained for a couple of reasons. One, it's important to note that unfortunately, because of COVID, folks are making their decision to book much closer than they used to. So back in normal times, they would book 3 months out. Today, they're booking sometimes a couple of days out because of the uncertainty of whether I can travel or should I travel. But the other reason too is that there is that uncertainty, and so therefore you're going to see that gap as we move forward. Some of our partners and I'm not sure if they're participating today, they use these tools to be able to see forward what's coming up. Just yesterday at my hotel talking to the manager, and he says he feels a little softness. And so I don't mean to be here trying to be negative about the future. It's just we need to be cautious about the future, and that's why we've taken steps to be prepared from our marketing perspective, and really use as much research as we can to understand the markets. research is what tells us who our market is, who our visitor is. So let me also take a little bit of time to share a little bit of what we call our visitor profile. Let's see. So it's important to look at this data as a reference point of what the tourism industry means to this destination, right? Because we haven't finished the year. This is showing you the 2019 numbers. So the economic impact was 415 million. Last year, $267 million were spent in direct investment here. The industry created almost 5,500 jobs last year, and I have to say we were on track to probably exceed the 6,000. Obviously, because of COVID, we'll have to see where we end up at the end of the year. I was very pleased just going out to dinner last night and seeing one of the restaurants had hired someone. They were making a big deal about it. So all that is great. And then the revenue per individual that visits us. But as I said, it affects everything that we do because, and actually, my slides are a little bit off, but I'll show you what it means to us from an economic point of view. First, let me show you the profile. Might be a little bit harder to show, but I wanted to put in perspective 3 years, and the reason is that our last 19 was affected by Dorian, and so, but you can see how in 3 years, our visitor numbers have increased. The number of room nights have increased. Our direct expenditures have increased, and that's what's important to the economy. Part of it is what Debbie said earlier, that even through COVID, we were fortunate that the market allows us to sustain our rates at the hotels or increase them. As a matter of fact, we're quite surprised that the rates are so high. So you'll see that our average daily rate has gone up from 132 to 142 to 152. And again, that's the average rate for the year. And so even though we had a little bit less occupancy, at 70%, that rate allows us to have better revenue. As a matter of fact, in the hotel industry, we call that RevPAR, revenue per available room. And what I was mentioning about how the industry affects us directly, the estimate, well, we talked about the visitors, but what I wanted to point out is the 2.2 million in tax collection. As Debbie said, this year, that tax collection was, at the end of the year, was only down by 9%, which is remarkable. But what's interesting is those visitors actually pay $16.5 million in taxes, right? Sales taxes that they come into our economy to enjoy themselves. And in some regards, that actually saves us as residents $355 a year, because we're not having to pay for those services. They're actually doing it for us. And so that gives you hopefully gives you a quick snapshot of how important tourism is to us. As Debbie said, once March 12th hit and we started looking at all those things, we had to make some very difficult decisions. And at that time, we entered a 3-tier recovery plan, which we had a short-term and a mid-term and a long-term strategy. The short-term was really just to reach out to everybody in the industry and listening to what was going on. It was a time for us to increase the information in our newsletter, update our website, make sure that our COVID information was there, that we were able to communicate to our visitor. And thanks to the efforts of ITI and Lini's team, we started putting our message out on social media just to make sure that people knew that we're here and that when they were ready, they could come back and visit. We continued that through the midterm, which was the summer. We called it the Speak Softly period, because we were just, again, organically, as Debbie said, talking to our potential visitors at that time, telling them that we were here for them when they were ready, And we also reached out to our partners. We created kits for them to be able to add more information. And then just now in the last month, we've started evaluating what are we going to do moving forward, right? I think we've all become, unfortunately, comfortable with this new normal, as I can see in front of me and as I enjoyed the destination last night. And so we have to, respectfully and safely start marketing to the visitors. And we're going to do that very slowly through newsletters. Then probably the first quarter, we're going to move into some digital advertising. But we have to continue to monitor, what the potential is. We're very lucky, especially when I look outside today. We're very lucky that this destination is so appealing, and that we're in a radius of drive market all the way up to Atlanta, all the way down to Miami, where I came from. Which, by the way, was crazy how much traffic there was, even though I didn't expect it, to be honest with you. That people are driving here. I mean, the people are coming here. That's why during the holidays we were able to. Holidays right now, Labor Day, we're able to see some really good numbers. So we will continue to do what we need to, staying well informed, as Debbie said, with all the industry numbers. Debbie might share with you a little bit later a little bit of the outlook of what's that's going to look like. It is, frankly, a lot of smart people are talking about late 2021 into the 2022, in some cases even 2023, for recovery of this industry, not to even speak about international, which is a small portion of our market. So with that, I'll hand it back to Debbie so she can tell you about why you're here and some of the partner benefits that you can take advantage of.
Thank you. Thanks, Roberto. As Roberto mentioned, the sobering numbers that we're hearing is that, and this is from U.S. Travel Association, that the hospitality industry will not be on par to 2019 numbers until the third quarter of 2023. Airlines will not be back up to par till 2024. The international market will not be back to par of 2019 till 2025. So right now we're hearing a third of those that want to travel are feeling a little guilt and shame because they want to travel smartly and safely. So some of the things you're going to see here very shortly are some of the things that we're creating to help people feel very secure to travel here. So there's some pent-up demand out there, but again, as Florida starts spiking, we want to make sure that we're doing the right things so that people come here. So what we want to offer, and let's wake the screen up here. We kind of put this in two different buckets. This is for all area businesses. We want to help all of you and reach out and offer up some of our things on our website and our social media. So we have a listing for you on our concierge page that we're creating right now, and that's for ancillary businesses that touch the tourism industry. So this way here we can help you get some of the circulation from our website and our social media feeds. So we'll be reaching out to you a little bit more. We're going to have a webinar this month on the 17th, I believe, and we're going to tailor it to go into depth on some of the things you're going to see here today. So it was in our newsletter, and we'll make sure that you all get the information. Google Places, we're currently updating and expanding that. You're going to hear more from Alini on that in a few minutes, but she's going to show you and tell you how you need to claim that and how it'll feed into our website. And then joining the One Planet Living sustainability platform. You're going to hear about that too, and I know there's a few of you in here that have expressed interest. Some have done it. We've had about 5 partners come through it. So we want to continue that, because is that when the economy gets back and everybody can travel, 2 things are key. Digital profile, you got to be out there virtually, and you got to be sustainable. So we've been kind of ahead of this, so we want to kind of keep this going. Submit your deals, your specials to us, and if you can work with a hotelier, a restaurant, an attraction, that makes it even more appealing to the visitor. Use the NSB suggested itineraries. We have an itinerary builder. I know like NSB Eats does a walking tour. She could use the itinerary, build it for her customers right off our website. It's totally free. A wellness place, like anything, walking tours, anybody can use it. And partner with the hospitality industry. You can participate in our monthly webinars. Share posts on the Instagram with the hashtag LoveNSB. And photos, videos, anything you can share with us will get out on our platforms any way possible. So that's an extra plug for you as well. And become a tourism champion. It's taken like 8 easy quizzes. We have like a bronze, silver, platinum level. You get a little promotional item when you finish each one, but then we can put an icon on your listing on the website and visitors know you're a true ambassador of the area. And then use our NSB logo on your website and have it linked back to ours, and we can connect together that way. And then we have, for the hospitality industry, a lot of the same things, but we also have free 360 videos that we're doing, and those are totally free to any hotelier or restaurant or attraction right now. You can utilize the assets. We have a partner toolkit. We have a lot of different graphics or things for your email. You can submit digital brochures. We're creating a virtual visitor center. And it's going to be very robust and have a lot of like video and interactive things. And again, you can see using the partner portal to get white papers and a whole bunch of other things. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about all the goodness and have Alini talk about all the great things they're doing for us. And I'll hand it over. Yep, just turn to them.
Hey everyone, good morning. I'm just going to highlight a few things that Debbie explained on the partner benefits. And we'll also have a webinar on many of these items for a more in-depth training on how to use them. So let me see here. I just wanted to start with a few numbers on the annual results for the Visit NSB website. And why this is important is because we are proposing that you can take advantage of the marketing, right, of being listed on the website and being listed or sharing your business and your photos with the Visit NSB team. So these are just a few numbers for you to realize the impact that, all of the marketing efforts that we do with Debbie and the team have on the brand. So last year we had, over 1 million page views on the site, and this is again just a great opportunity to be listed and a good, free marketing benefit that you can take advantage. So to highlight the Google Places portion that Debbie was mentioning, we have for either hospitality businesses or all the area businesses that somewhat touch the tourism and the visitors that come to town through software automation. And I know that sounds like a big word, but essentially we can aggregate, we can bring the Google Place, your individual listing of your business, to the website and display with several tools. So if you are listed on Google, you can upload photos, you can manage your hours, you can add, your contact information for your business, and also you can collect reviews, right, that people leave for the business. All of that information is going to be displayed on the Visit NSB website. Go. So this is just an example of what that listing looks like. We brought a restaurant here. So it includes all the info on the left, the reviews, and then we also added the nearby kind of cross-promotion section there, so visitors, can kind of continue to explore the area and most importantly, continue to spend. The second free benefit that we wanted to highlight is the itineraries. So there is a collection of itineraries on the website that are pre-made. There's about 20, 25 right now, and we keep building and refreshing them as well, depending on the season. So those are pre-defined points of interest that you can use in case someone is asking for what's here to do, where can I go to eat, do you know what parks I should be visiting, any kind of question like that that you can get from a visitor. There is a pre-made library that you can export or even share via email or social media. And if you are a hospitality industry business, a hotel or an attraction, besides everything else that was listed, we also have a daily events calendar. So if you have, I would call it a tourism-friendly event, right, that all can participate. You can submit your event through the website, or if you create your event on Facebook, on Eventbrite, Eventful, we are able to automatically see that event and bring it to the website for approval. So you don't have to take the extra step. If you're creating on those social platforms, we will see your event and promote it on the website. We have a lot of details on that, on how to do it, and the step-by-step that we can share on the webinar, or I'll be here for more questions later. This is the part that Debbie mentioned with the itinerary builder. I think it's really cool because it's very personalized. So if someone is specifically asking, I'm here on Flagler Avenue, where are the arts and culture places I should see? Or show me 5 restaurants that I cannot miss, this weekend. You can really pinpoint and choose specific businesses and create a little map, for that person. All of this is exportable. You can print and kind of really personalize for them. The 2 new things that are coming up in the next couple of months, really, is the Virtual Visitor Center. This will be a very interactive tool. We wanted, due to COVID and just really an accessibility standpoint, we wanted to make sure that visitors that may not stop at the visitor center, the physical brick and mortar, they also had all the travel resources available to them. So they could, we're going to do that. They can enter the virtual visitor center virtually, through 360. And then access those digital brochures, access videos, and just travel planning tools that they would find at the tourism office. And then the last part is the partner portal. So again, in this screenshot, we are showing as if I were log in on the portal as the Hampton Inn, hotel partner. We have several features that will be there. You will be able to update your contact for the website. Also, look at the leads, potential meetings or weddings coming to town, and be aware of when those are happening. But I think the coolest feature, it's really the marketplace that we're showing, where the idea is for the partners, for the local community to exchange, coupons and specials in destination. So you're able to post your specials, display them on the portal. And again, if I was the Hampton Inn, I could see that Marine Discovery Center has a 5%, discount for, an extra day of activities. I may be able to offer that to my guests and just create some added value. So this is a really cool exchange platform and communication platform. And now I'll give it back to Roberto.
So Chris says to me, you can take a couple minutes longer, and I said, well, we have so much to talk about. I'm afraid we're running a little bit late. First thing I want to say before I forget is, as you saw, there were some handouts out there, and I did see a couple of you taking notes when Debbie was talking about the free partner benefits. So make sure to pick one of these up so that you have a reference. But in the bottom, there's a contact information. You can call the Bureau and talk to Elizabeth. Same thing with what Eleni was talking about. There's a little bit about that on this handout, and hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier. I know that at these times you want to, things that are free are the ones that sound the most interesting. But I also wanted to tell you from a business perspective, if you're looking for opportunities to advertise and invest a little bit, and when I say a little bit, it's our advertising is opportunities are not that expensive. So on the slide that was up there after a moment, it just quickly highlighted a couple of opportunities that you can take advantage of advertising in our destination guide. The cover there is what it's going to look, the new one. But this is a guide, a printed guide, and a digital guide that includes all of the destinations. It includes all of the partners, everybody that wants to be there. And so you're able to have an ad, just like the Hampton has here. So that's an opportunity. We have a newsletter that goes out to our visitors every month. And obviously, as you saw, our website numbers are pretty interesting at 1.5 million page views. And in there, we have different opportunities, enhanced listings, which roll up to, when you look at a listing, if you're paying, extra, then it shows up first, and so on and so forth. And then, if you're interested in, again, talking to Elizabeth, or later we can talk about that, again, our programs, our public relations efforts allow us to be able to bring in, for example, we call them sweepstakes. You can have something to give away that we can then promote, and then people will get to know more about your product. But as Debbie said earlier, one of the things that we find in our research and we're hearing from the national industry is that visitors there is that pent-up demand. People want to visit. And there's two things that they're looking for before they do. And that is what's open? How does that destination behave, right? When I get there, what should I expect? And so it's important for us on our website, as we do, to tell people what's open, what do we do, what are the rules, what are we following? But then they also want to know when they get here that it's a safe destination. And that I'm traveling, I'm going to different places. Yesterday when I was trying to figure out where to go to dinner, I was very impressed by Norwood's sort of posting on our website, making sure that everybody had their masks and how they were going to handle it. I then ended up having dinner at one of my favorite places at Third Wave, and same thing. Everybody, staff-wise, was masked up. But a good way to be able to communicate would be then if we could showcase and show that. And so for that, we've developed a new program called Pledge to Protect. And that is call it a private pledge that we would like us to make in the industry, whereby we sort of, we fill out a pledge form that speaks that we're following CDC standards, that we're following the guidelines, that we're following protocol, the things that we do, just like when we walked in here, right? Everything is done perfectly following what people would expect. And so by having that sticker that I showed earlier, flyers that, posters that you might have, this will give comfort to the visitor that they're coming into a store, a restaurant, an art gallery that is following CDC, following the protocols. Again, this is part of us as the industry. Has nothing to do with government or any of that. It's a pledge that you're making personally to tell your consumers that this is a safe place to visit. Again, more details that we can share with you later, and so you can follow that URL. We've also had a handout on that, and sign up for the pledge, in which we would really appreciate. And like I said, that's going to be listed. Well, it's already up on the website. So the visitors will be able to see who has signed the pledge, right? And so they'll be promoted. Again, another way to promote. And then, you want me to talk a little bit about the One Planet?
Yeah.
Okay. As Debbie said, and quite frankly, I'll say it for her, and I've had the privilege to be working with Debbie and in the Visitors Bureau for over 3 years, and she's been a visionary of sustainable travel. I mean, she brought to New Smyrna the concept of One Planet. At the time, it was called One Planet Living. They've rebranded it themselves to One Planet, and very briefly, what that means is that we should be able to consume what One Planet produces for us. And what we do today, I think we're up to 7 planets, 5 planets. Well, we're more than one. Yeah. But the concept, and that's why the name One Planet, is that we should find a way to sustainably consume what we have, not what we don't have. And so that is a very sophisticated yet simple program. That's for another webinar. As a matter of fact, this summer we did have that webinar, and we'll do it again. But there's different points. And so as Debbie said earlier, We have some current participants, Spring Hill Suites, the Marine Discovery Center, Third Wave, and of course the Bureau have all, I don't want to call it certified, but they've been through the program. And we're very pleased to see the interest from others. We've been working with the city and trying to put that together. And it's very simple, very straightforward. Debbie actually has been trained to help you through this process. And I encourage you as well to find ways to participate. And, more importantly, it's free. So this again speaks to what travelers are looking for. They want to go to sustainable destinations. And I'm sorry we don't have enough time to get into the specifics, but as residents and as local businesses, it's really cool to see the different areas that the program touches, right? So it speaks to it's not about tourism, actually. This is about how to make a destination sustainable, and you'll be able to see from saving on paper to doing the right things. I mean, it's a very cool program. So I encourage you to learn more about it. And I'll hand it over to Debbie.
Thank you, Roberto. Just a note about the One Planet. The city has finished the plan. We're tweaking a little bit, and they had a neighborhood council meeting to try to get an interested party group together to further that. So it doesn't matter what kind of business you are, you can be in the plan. They just did a major update to the website. It's a little bit easier to create the templates, and I'm happy to help. If you can tell me what you're doing, I can load it for you. We can have a conference call. We can get it going, and it's free. We pitched this idea to Visit Florida. They're very interested in rolling this out to the rest of the state. New Smyrna Beach right now is the pilot city, the first out of the gate with this, so we're really hoping to get as many on board before it goes statewide so we can be a further role model. But right now, there's many of these places on the One Planet website, and they're getting a lot of international marketing by being part of that group. We told you a little bit about what the forecast is, not trying to scare anyone like Roberto said, but we have to be realistic. And, the old saying that the rising tides lift all the boats, so why don't we work together? Why don't we try to do what we all can do? And, as the official destination marketing organization for the Southeast Volusia, we'd like to help you as much as we can. So share with us what's going on, and if we can use it and get it out on our platform. We have a new domestic PR team that's actually coming in destination Sunday for a few days to do an immersion trip. We've already gotten picked up in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. They're pitching a lot of things. We're doing a virtual travel journalist desk side visit in January. So we are getting the word out. So we're very hopeful that there'll be some visitors here to help your businesses and to help us all grow together. So I want to thank everybody. The pledge is really important. I might say, too, with the last pulse that our research company did, is that they are looking for those destinations that take it very seriously. So we want to put this pledge on our email signature line and let people know this is going out to our visitors of 20,000 database, our Facebook followers, so I think it's 75,000 now. So anyways, we can help get the word out for you. So thank you, Roberto, Alini, Elizabeth, everybody here. We'll be happy to go into depth on our webinar if you care to join us, and just reach out to any of us and we'll be happy to get you more information. And I'll turn it back over to Chris. Is that correct? Okay.
I guess I'll add one more thing as Chris walks up, related to what Debbie said. You were signing up, obviously, for Chris's forum, but next to that, it's the Bureau's table where you can pick up all these things. But there's also sign-up sheets, so you can give us your email, and then we can add you to that newsletter, and you can get those those invitations and that information. As I said, Debbie said, the webinar for the things that Alini was talking about will be next week on the 17th. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Debbie, Roberto. Thank you, Visit New Smyrna Beach team, for a great presentation. And feel free to stop by their table at the conclusion of today. Also, there's some other information that is there, magazines that you can take at your discretion, as well as our mask up decals, window decals that are a nice giveaway to all the small businesses here. And we would love for you to have them. Next up, we're going to hear from Michael Zaharios with Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Come on now, that's all we got? Anybody else feeling cold? Anybody feeling hot? Come on, good morning. How you guys doing? There we go, a little energy in the room. Michael Zaharios, Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center. Want to thank Chris for the invitation to be here today. Want to thank all of you for turning out. It's good to see so many faces. Me personally, I'm a little zoomed out, so it feels good to be here. And I promise that I am here, although I'm representing the Virtual Entrepreneur Center. You can physically touch me. I'm not here virtual today. Although maybe that's part of what our future looks like, where we'll be hollow beamed or sent into the location in a digital way. Hey, Chris, we gonna be able to pull up the website? So to give you guys a little bit of background, for about the past decade, I've been a part of helping build Florida's reputation as a destination for entrepreneurs, for business owners. And how we've done that is we created an online platform where you can go and you can find resources, you can find events, and most importantly, you can find out who the other business owners are that are in your community. And you saw and heard in the last presentation a lot of opportunities for you to put your business out there in what I would consider is a very front-facing way. But there's also another side to that story, and that story is who's behind the scenes operating the business, and how did that founder come up with the idea to start their restaurant or to create a product or service that they're bringing to the marketplace. We all know that people want to do business with people that they know, that they trust. So what we've done is we've kind of flipped the model around and said, let's peel back the onion a little bit and let's get to know who the business owners are that are here in New Smyrna Beach. Let's interview them, let's create a profile about them, and then let's put that profile on our website so that anybody can come in and read about those individuals 24/7, 365. And oh, by the way, while they're there, let's make sure that they can connect further, either through their website, their social media, or through direct messages that we've created an ability for you to do directly through our platform. So if there's anything that you take away today from the few minutes that I have at the microphone, I would encourage you to write down the website address, flvec.com. That's really all you need to know. And I would submit that all of us in the room right now very likely know another business owner that couldn't be here today for one reason or the other, and that's okay. But if you want to look very good in the eyes of your peers, your customers, your friends, your neighbors, tell them about things that can help them move forward and become more successful. Tell them about FLVEC. And you'll be surprised that they'll come back and tell you, wow, I didn't realize there was a resource out there that offered so much for businesses. So if I had to ask you, how many organizations like the city, the Small Business Development Center, SCORE, the Chamber, how many organizations are out there in the state of Florida for businesses? How many would you say? Anybody got a guess? Nobody? That's okay. There's 800. There's actually 800 resources across the state of Florida, and not every community has every resource, and that's okay. It is nice to be able to borrow resources from our neighbors in other cities and counties. There are a lot of organizations that are actually regional or statewide. So on our website, you'll see a green button that says Browse Resources. If you click on that button, it will ask you to tell us where you are, either the county or city that you operate in, And then if you click on, let's go do the city drop down and go to New Smyrna Beach. There's over 300 cities in Florida, so we have everybody represented. But when our Wizard of Oz finds the New Smyrna Beach page, what you're going to see is scroll down just a little bit further, a little bit more, keep going. Right there, resource agencies to know. So at your fingertips, you can find out who can help you with any aspect of your business. If you need mentorship, business plan, if you're ready to grow your business to a new location, if you need funding for your business, whatever it is, we have all those resources set up for you and available at any time that you need them. And my encouragement to you is to not wait, and this is hard to do, and I fall victim to it too, until a challenge is smacking you right in the head, because sometimes that stops us from being able to get back to business quicker. So empower yourself to know who can help you with your business so that when challenges do come forth, you're going to have an answer to who you can get help with quick, and that's going to get you back to business even more quickly. So we've got all those resources there. You can click in, find contact information, who they are, what they offer. It's all available. If you scroll down further on this same page, keep going past all the resources, you're going to start to see the profiles of other businesses. So here now you're seeing right in New Smyrna Beach the individuals that are like you, other entrepreneurs that are operating and growing their business. And the nice thing about this is because of our relationship with the city of New Smyrna Beach, with the organization that I work for, the Florida High Tech Corridor, we are able to offer this program, platform, these profiles for free. Okay, so anybody in this room that's a business owner, knows a business owner in New Smyrna Beach or inside of Volusia County, doesn't matter where you are in Volusia County, you too can have your profile here. And again, the nice thing is we're looking at New Smyrna Beach, so if you're thinking, hey, I want to buy a product or service of somebody else that's inside the community, you could come here, and if you click on, just pick any face, click on any face, what you're going to see is you're going to see who the individual is, links to their website, the story, which is done through the interview that we do over the phone. And again, it's what makes us different in what we do. We're helping you get to know who the owner of the business is and how they did what they did. Our interview process usually takes about an hour over the phone, and we ask questions like, why did you choose New Smyrna Beach for your business? If you were here, why did you stay? If you weren't here, why did you come here? That intelligence is valuable not only for us, but for everybody else to know. We ask, what resources did you use? What books did you read? What advice do you have for other entrepreneurs? It's all packed in the story that you saw written there. And then if you like what you read about the individual, what better than to be able to actually connect with him or her. So if you click on the green Contact Me button, we're not giving away anybody's contact information, you simply fill out this form right here, you indicate why you're reaching out to the entrepreneur, and it sends an email to him or her, and then they have a chance to respond or not. Okay, so we fulfill our mission of providing the connection, and then anything that happens from there is between the entrepreneurs. And you'll see that we ask you to tell us why you're connecting with an entrepreneur through our platform. 50% of all the connections that happen through FLVEC are for business purposes, to buy the product or service of the entrepreneur that you're reading about. So our platform helps facilitate commerce between businesses and between consumers. That's 50% of all the outreach that happens on FLVEC. The other 50%, 25% of it is made up of peer mentorship, and that's very valuable. It's a lot of times business owners are simply waiting to be asked by another business owner, hey, I'm facing this challenge in my business. What did you do to get through this challenge in your business? So that peer mentorship piece is extremely valuable. It's what helps tell and signal to the rest of the world that New Smyrna Beach and Volusia County are the best place to do business. It's the voice of the business owners, okay? So you can contact through the platform. If we go back to the website, you're going to see some options along the top ribbon. They're growing. We're doing a lot of different things. But one I want to point out to you is the webinars. So we do, at the convenience of the speaker, it doesn't matter daytime, night, whenever the speaker's available, we'll schedule a webinar, do those by Zoom, have a live session, and then we make them available for playback through our catalog. And we have heard great success from this with entrepreneurs getting leads from these videos. Today, with COVID and the fact that people are online more now than ever, we're all searching for content and for good content. And so we're hearing from the folks that sign up to do a session with us that they are getting new leads for their business that are converting to clients for their business. If you don't have a professional video done, if you don't have a webinar, if you don't have a profile, this is a great way for you to kind of tap into that and get these tools inside of your toolkit. And again, we help with the facilitation, we help with the marketing, we help with the structure, but it's you, the business owner, that's delivering the content. All right, let's jump over to the offers tab real quick. Everything that I'm showing you right now is not just purely Michael's brain in a website. I mean, it is part that, but it is really our entrepreneurs and users of the website, and as well our sponsors like the City of New Smyrna Beach, telling us what tools and features they want inside of our website, which keeps us current, it keeps us relevant. So we have a place on the website where businesses that have a profile, if they want to make a special offer for other businesses, they can post that directly on our platform and gain more visibility for themselves, and at the same time help lift up other entrepreneurs. Let's go to the entrepreneurs tab that you see there. So I showed you the entrepreneurs just for New Smyrna Beach, and that's extremely valuable for us to do business locally. But I know, and I'm sure you know, that a lot of us do business across county lines, even across state lines. So if you're traveling to an area, let's say you're in New Smyrna and you're heading over to Tampa or down to Miami or up to Jacksonville, and you want to maximize your time while you're in that market, what better way than to come to a platform that can tell you who the business owners are in that area. You can read about them, then reach out and schedule meetings with them while you're going to be in that market. And that's why I showed this page. So we promote the local feel of doing business inside New Smyrna and inside of Volusia County, but we also open up the ability for you to connect with any entrepreneur that we've interviewed on our platform. There are 67 counties in the state of Florida. We have all of them. There are over 300 cities in the state. We have all of them. Our platform has over 1,000 entrepreneur profiles. These are the CEO, the founder, the key person, the decision maker. They're on here. So you can search by any of the filter options that you see there. And as well, I would ask you to click on, there's a green link that says click here to see the top 25 most viewed profiles. What we've done is we've created a little bit of a competition on our platform. And this is really spark some good usage of taking what is a great piece, this profile, and pushing it out to your customers. People I think right now are tired of, COVID and the elections. I mean, it's been all over the place. It's been in front of us for a long time. So to be able to kind of separate yourself from that noise and put some really quality content out there, getting yourself a profile if you don't have it already is very valuable. And you might have noticed that when we clicked in, you get your own link through our website. So your profile would be flvec.com/your name, and then you could take that, share it on your social media, put it in your newsletter, link it on your email signature. You could actually download it and print it and hang it on the wall if you wanted to. And we've had several people do that. But the whole idea here is just to give you a picture of the types of views and activities. We have some profiles that get a couple dozen views a month. We have others that are in the hundreds and some that are even in the thousands. If you haven't done recently, go Google search your name. Don't do it right now, but later today, that's a little homework assignment. Google search your name. Think about how you search. It's the same way other consumers search. They go on Google, they type in your name or your business name, and they see what comes up. I won't have our Wizard of Oz test it right now, but go back and Google any of the names of the CEOs that we've interviewed, and you'll see their profile, our profile for them, comes up on the first page of the search results. So 25% of people don't go past the first page of Google results. If you don't have a compelling listing on that first page, you're missing out on a big opportunity for your business. So again, this stuff is all free that I'm talking about. Along the very, very top, you'll see some colored icons. It will start with the need funding. This is brand new. This is something we pivoted to when COVID hit. We were seeing a lot of businesses that needed funding for their business. So what we're doing is we're taking in requests for funding that businesses need, and then we're matching them with resources or connections that we have with funders that could actually potentially fund their business. We average 2 requests for funding per day through our platform. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you read the detail that these business owners and aspiring business owners are sharing with you, it is quite inspiring, but it has also showed us that this is probably the #1 challenge that we see for young companies is they need capital. So getting them connected to it is extremely important for our success as a state and every city and county within it. If you want to inspire, there's another button that says Speak to Students. I mentioned that I work for the Florida High Tech Corridor. This is FLVEC is a program of the corridor. They have another program called STEM Connect. You know, the future of your kids, my kids, our grandkids, I mean, what's it look like? We want to keep them here in the state, and they want, you know, we want them to have good jobs. And we want to show them that there are fields in the STEM area that are relevant for them. So this particular program brings together experts to talk about STEM to students to inspire them on their career paths. If you need, if your company wants to do research, we can set you up with some grant opportunities there. And then the last button that you see on the top of the screen is this Ask FLVEC Anything. Back in March, my phone was blowing up with text messages. Michael, I'm not sure where to go. We need this, we need that. There's so much out there, you can't get in contact with somebody. So we literally put a page on the website where people could write us a message and say, hey, this is what I'm facing in my business. I have no idea who can help me. Please help me. And we average 1 request per day through that page on our platform. And we're doing everything we can through our network to provide connections to the folks that can get you answers. So again, flvec.com, you don't sign in, you don't pay anything, you don't have to give blood or your social security number or anything like that. Like, just go in and use it. Tell your friends and family and the people that you know that aren't in the room about it. This is just a very, very quick high-level overview of what we've got going on. And, you know, we do things like monthly calls, and we have all these different ways for people to plug in. And I think it's critical because everybody's engaging in a different way. What works for me may not work for you, but we've created different opportunities for people to plug in to this ecosystem. And, you know, Florida, as a guy who's born here, raised here, and has stayed here, there's no place I'd rather be if I was going to be in business than right here in Florida. So that's my story. That's what I'm sticking to. Chris, I hope I hit the nail on the time, and, you know, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you all for your time. I know we're a little behind schedule, but some great presentations so far, right? All right. Oh, good, good. Well, next we're going to talk about money. It's always a good subject. We have with us Helga Van Eckert, who is our Economic Development Director for Volusia County Government. She has a presentation.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning, everyone. How are you? FLVEC is a great tool for those of you who haven't used it yet. I can attest. Michael's put a great deal of work into that, and We've been using it for years in my prior job as well as in this one, and it really is a wonderful tool for the entrepreneurs. I'm new to the community. I'm the Director of Economic Development for Volusia County now. So if you don't recognize me, that's why. I've been here, my contact information's up there. I've been here now since March. So our department does business retention and expansion. Included in that is the entrepreneurial components associated with the UCF incubator that's located at the airport, as well as working with all of our stakeholders who assist small businesses, whether it be SBDC, FLVC, SCORE, the chambers, and so forth. We try to work as one unit with all of them, as well as our local economic developers such as Chris. But for me, it's been an extremely interesting time here in Volusia, because if you look at the chart, does this come off? Okay, thanks. If you look at the chart up here, this shows you the unemployment rates in Volusia County since COVID-19. This doesn't have a pointer, but I put my start date up there. Right when COVID started hitting is when I joined the county. So while we have a lot of great programs that I can talk to you about and wonderful programs that we want to put in place going forward, the first 6 months of my tenure really have been simply drowning in COVID and trying to find ways to help the business community respond to COVID. And rather than going through the other programs, I've been asked today to talk to you about our COVID response, what we've done, what our communities have seen, and where we can go from there. So that's going to be my focus today. I'm hopeful that in a future forum, we'll be able to sit down, talk about other programs that are out there and things that we're doing, because I really believe that Volusia County has got amazing potential, and the things that we can do as a group working with small businesses is just boundless. So aside from the fact that we've had a huge spike with unemployment, you can see that since April, May, we've slowly been able to get things back under control as the economy has started to open again in a smart way, the way that we're all sitting here today with our distance and our masks and making sure that we're being socially aware. What I also did was I threw New Smyrna Beach's individual unemployment rates on this chart, just so that you could get a feel for where you were in relation to the rest of the county. And you're right in line with the recovery, and your unemployment rate was just a little bit lower straight through. And that may be because while you do have a strong tourism component, there is the other industry within this community. Here's your year over year, just so that you can see. Back at this time in 2019, your unemployment rate was 3.3, average of 3.2 for the 3 months in that quarter. This most recent quarter, your average is at 7.6. So while it's not as devastating as it was at the beginning of COVID, it's still higher than where you were a year ago. So I'm sure everybody's still feeling a little bit of the crunch. So when I first got in here and we started talking about COVID and what we can do, we did a couple of things, and this is what I want to talk about to you today. The first and most important thing that we did was we pulled together all of the economic development stakeholders, because the county fully understood that there was no way we would be able to respond to our local businesses with an understanding of where the gaps were in the pain and where you were feeling it the most, unless we worked closely with the local economic developers who really understood their communities. And Chris, I know you're new as well. Prior to Chris, I was working with Carmen, and I can tell you, New Smyrna Beach was actually one of the first communities to start to respond with their zoning and their planning and allowing for outdoor dining and changing your zoning and your signage requirements to respond to allow for social distancing. It was really very impressive. Did any of you participate in the Zoom calls that they had, where the businesses, you had a couple of your key businesses talk about what to do with HR, what to do moving forward? Show of hands. Well, a couple of you. Good, good. Well, this community is really well connected, and that's one of the keys to being able to respond. So what we had done was we pulled together this task force and asked what the businesses were feeling, tried to get as much feedback as we could. And then we had weekly meetings after that where each of the cities did something a little different. So what we did was we shared best practices, things that we were hearing the best results from the businesses, and we each tried to learn from each other and develop programs associated with that. And those are the grants that I'm going to talk to you about. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about today is how we respond going forward. So COVID's it's God willing, a once in a lifetime situation, right? I don't want to say opportunity. So, but going forward, we're going to need to continue the communication. If I had to tell you a silver cloud that's come out of this, it would be that we've been able to connect a little more directly with the business community because we've been able to provide some assistance. And it's really opened our eyes to where the strengths and the weaknesses are and what we can do going forward. I see Tom Daly here, and Tom will tell you, where we've needed to provide assistance at times has been unexpected. So let's get started here. First thing we did was we put together, and now grant you it's not as pretty as the FLVEC, we did it in 2 weeks, but what we learned was that there was so much information coming out to the business community and to the residents with respect to grants and loans and programs and incentives and deals and who was going to help who and how it was going to be done, but it was spread everywhere. So I don't know about anybody here, what organizations you're involved in specifically, but every organization that I've been involved with, and I can tell you there's about 25, each one of them must have sent me 7 emails a day telling me about some program or some need that was out there. So what we decided to do was put together this website. It's VolusiaBusinessResources.com. And we pulled together the federal, the state, the local, the regional programs that were available. We pulled together those resources. Each of the cities have a logo on here and a listing on here, so you can tap directly into their websites. The whole idea is that it's a non-denominational website. So it's not the Volusia County Economic Development website. It's not the Team Volusia website. It's not the New Smyrna Beach website. It is a website that pulls all of the information together that you can use. So I have a link there. I don't see that I can connect it here, but can you connect me to my link just so you can see the site? Great. So if you can scroll a little bit, right here at each one of these circles connects you to a specific partner within the website. So it'll drag you immediately where you need to go. But most importantly, if you look up across the top, Relaunch Volusia Small Business Reopening Grant, Relaunch Volusia Home-Based Business Grant, Not-for-Profit Business Grant Program, PPE Distribution Program. Those are the programs that were put together as a result of the communications that we had with the stakeholders. You get to those programs from this site. It's an easy application. If you could just click on the top one, just as an example, takes you right there. It has a list of questions for qualifications, and then you just click to apply. It's a form that can be completed in 20 minutes. And then the grants are associated with that. Has anybody in this room applied for those grants yet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, about 12. Great. Have any of you received your money yet? About 12. Great. That means we're doing something right. Okay, if we could go back. So please remember this website address because, yes? They're all still open. We're getting there, I promise you. please remember this website address, because while it was originally created, I mean, like I said, very quickly, so that we could respond to COVID-19, the response that we've gotten and the click-throughs that we've gotten has been so great that this website is going to stay active, and it's going to be the link to connect you with all of your resources going forward. FLVC will be on here if Michael agrees to it. SCORE is already on there, and it will be organized in such a fashion that any business, big, small, entrepreneurial, that goes to the site will be able to find what they need. And that's part of our business retention and expansion program. It's important that we make the information available to you, but it's important that we make it available to you in a fashion that you can find it. From what I understand, that's usually the biggest problem is communication and accessibility. I want to make sure that that's not a problem going forward. So, the relaunch. First off, the small business grant. Requirements you need for this particular one, these grants range from $3,000 to $5,000. You need to have a brick and mortar facility. So these are for businesses that are up to 25 employees get $3,000, between 26 and 50 employees get $5,000. One of the requirements here, so just so you know, the idea of this grant was what we had learned, that the businesses were shut down, and when it came to reopening, there were costs associated with reopening. Physical structures that needed to be changed, either plexiglass needed to go up or signage needed to be changed, and we wanted to be able to respond to that. So the county council allocated $10 million in CARES Act funds to the small business specifically for this grant. We did market it. Let's just recognize the website again. We did market it. I'm hopeful that people saw the marketing that we did. And if you didn't, I'm more hopeful that you'll let me know that you didn't see it and tell me where we can put it so that in the future you do. Again, communication's going to be key, and if we know what sources you look at, what things where you'd like us to put stuff, we'll make a point to do that. This gives a general overview, but these are the kinds of ads we were doing. We also did radio, we did Facebook, as much social media as we could. I know Chris's team reached out to the business community and the chamber, as well as your adjacent cities doing the same. This grant, as of October 23rd, we distributed $7.9 million to the small business community. I've just learned yesterday that we've just topped $8 million now, which means we have just under $2 million left on this particular grant. It's going to stay open until the dollars are gone, and then we'll see if the feds give us additional stimulus monies going forward. Perhaps it'll be continued. But you can see that. So let me just explain the process real quick, just because I think it's important you understand how hard your local economic developer works. The applications come in. The first review of the application is done by the City of New Smyrna Beach Economic Development Group or person, and they go through, make sure it meets all the criteria, but none of the personal information, like a W-9 or anything like that, is shared at that level. From there, once it gets through that first phase, it comes to the county. The county then does a second audit on the financial side and on the contact information side. And then once the county completes that review and it's approved, we send it to finance for the checks to be distributed. Now understand, when we say that those things are reviewed, it's not a matter of looking at it and saying, oh, they forgot this, so it's denied. Staff, both at the city level and at the county level, has made a point that when something is missing information or there's something that somebody misunderstood, we've reached out and contacted each of those businesses individually. It's been a ton of work, but it's been required because this is where we saw where some of the weaknesses were when it came to filling out the application. A lot of the local businesses did not know that they need a city and a county business tax receipt. Show of hands, does everybody know that? Yeah, see? It's important. It's part of the way that we maintain communication. And going forward, when you complete your business tax receipts, that data will eventually, on my end, be put into a database so that if there are emergency situations we need to let you know about, additional grant dollars that are out there, programs that are available, we're going to use those lists to reach out. Our department sends out a weekly notice called the Economic Scene. Anybody seen that? Okay, got a few hands, great. Right now it's going out to about 13,000 people. We've got great click-through rates. We've got great information. If you're not on that list for distribution, please go to the website or call me. I'll put my number back up again at the end of this, and we'll make sure to get you included in that e-blast. We also send out a magazine, an e-magazine called The Quarterly that provides information on economic development as well. We can send that to you. Okay, so the other grant that we did was for home-based businesses. We started off with the small businesses, and then we heard from the communities that the home-based businesses were suffering as well. A little more difficult to get your arms around those. Those are the ones that really didn't know about the business tax receipt requirements. And they're hard to get in touch with because they're working out of their houses and they don't necessarily interact. So a little bit less money. It's $1,500 per business. It has to be less than 50 full-time employees. Again, minimum of $6,000 of annual gross receipts. And again, it requires that you have the business tax receipt registration. If you don't have that and you want to apply for the grant, you can apply for those. We've made it very easy, both at the city level and the county level, to allow it to go forward. And if you're concerned that you've been in operation for 20 years, don't worry about that. We're just looking at today. So this particular grant does not allow for not-for-profits, so you can't be tax exempt. There is another program for tax exempt businesses. This program, if you take a look in October, we hasn't been quite as popular because, again, we've been having difficulty reaching the home-based businesses. Applications in October, the end of October, we had 578. We distributed $667,000. Still a lot of money. So it's not that the program isn't a good program, it is. We just need to reach out to more people. The county council allocated $3 million to this program. So there's over close to $2.5 million left. So if you know of anybody who's working from home that is a legitimate home-based business, please have them go to volusiabusinessresources.com and sign up to register for the dollars. So I wanted to show you, New Smyrna Beach has been pretty responsive. So the communication seems to be good. This shows you a breakdown of each of the cities within our county and the dollars that their businesses have received. So back in October, we had just over $800,000 that have gone to New Smyrna Beach businesses. It's pretty impressive for the size of this community. So you've had a great response rate, and I'm not surprised. Again, the communication in this community is strong. It's very tight-knit, and your city has been very proactive in the approach to working with the businesses, and judging by the number of people here, it really does show. So again, if you have any questions on these things, you can always give us a call or ask today. The other program that we did in the beginning was everybody was having difficulty getting PPE equipment. That's no longer apparently a problem. Inventory has picked up, but the county allocated $1 million of grant funds to that as well. We purchased over 7,000 PPE kits and collaborated with the regional chambers for distribution. There were 2 separate dates that the equipment was distributed, and each date or each cycle had One had 7 locations that it worked out of, the other one had 3 locations, so that we tried to make sure we were spread throughout the entire county and it was easy for people to gain access. So that was another very popular program. We hadn't planned on repeating that one because we haven't heard from people that they still have a need. But if there is a need out there, please let us know. Unless you tell us, there's nothing we can do to assist. So now is my last piece, and I know I'm much shorter in my presentation than probably your other speakers, and that's intentional because I have to talk about COVID and everybody else got to talk about fun stuff. So going forward, we really do want to connect with the community strongly, and the small businesses especially, but we can't help with what you need unless we hear from you so that we can learn from you and then we can work with you. It's all a matter of being able to interact. Those of you who did not know who I am, hopefully I'll become a fixture in your brain over the next year, because I really do want to make our department as accessible and as collaborative as possible. So with that, if anybody has any questions, are we leaving those to the end, or questions? Are we leaving those to the end? Okay. Thank you.
All right, now we're coming down to the last wire, if you call it that. Now we're at our small business idea exchange portion. So try not to throw too many rocks at me up here. But we really want to hear from you in this section. This is to make things a little more interactive. I know you've been presenting information, valuable information today from all 3 of our presenters. But at this time, I really kind of want to hear from you. What are some things that you feel like are good ideas that would work for the city of New Smyrna Beach? But before we do that, I'm going to give you just a real quick rundown of what we are currently proposing as ideas and what we are currently executing. And while that PowerPoint's coming up, basically we came up, as I said earlier, with the acronym SMART. Obviously we're not the originators of it, but the concept remains true. We want specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely goals that we can establish as a city to make sure that we're not impeding growth for small businesses in this community. The last thing I think any city wants is its business community to diminish. We want it to grow. That's one of the things that keeps our community strong and keeps our communities thriving, are small businesses. So that's clear. All right. So what we propose and what we continue to do on a regular basis is really analyze our existing economic development plan. And many of you have not seen the economic development plan. It is on our website. There is information that goes back to 2019, my predecessor with Tony, and working with the commission on approving an economic development plan that focuses on the 3 core elements of economic development, which is recruitment. That's usually going after the big companies, but also more importantly, the retention and the expansion of the existing small businesses in the community. That is also part of economic development. And so what we want to do is continue to work those, what we call BRE, or business retention and expansion components, such as engaging with our Economic Development Advisory Board. We have a fairly mostly new group of Economic Development Advisory Board members. I see one of them in the back there, Miss Lillian, who's she's a non-voting member, but she's a part of that group as well. And we have a really good, talented mix of business owners. And so we really want to further engage them to make sure that they're working with our small business advocacy groups, our small business owners in general, to put forth policies and services that are meaningful and substantive for small businesses. And also integrating the economic development gardening concept, which basically is a mindset that our government would have throughout its entire operations that keeps the forefront of the mind that entrepreneurs and the small business communities is driving our local economy. It is driving our well-being as a community. The other aspect of it is continuing to link up with our partners as far as providing and publishing business resource referrals. Helga had mentioned it, Michael had mentioned it, Debbie had mentioned it in their presentations, and ways in which we can make sure information is constantly available to you. And then also providing small business liaison services where we, where do we touch your business the most at? How can we help you as a small business owner interact with the city better? Can we enhance our technological offers to you on our website, on our social media pages? How can we communicate better with you, more regularly with you, so that we can make decisions and put forth policies that positively impact your growth? And that's, for example, I used the pre-approval process. So many times, it's important that we understand the need to know in advance what you're looking to do with your specific business. If you have a site that you haven't developed and you want to develop it, or you have an existing building that you want to expand or improve, to sit down with our folks who are professionals, planning and zoning, building department, and just have that conversation about what it is you're looking to do. That's what we are here for. That's what we're here to assist you with. The other thing is the business recruitment component. The business recruitment component there that talks about strengthening economic and workforce development. We have a strong partnership, as many of you may know, with the, I'm listing, highlighting, but they're not the only partners, but they are significant partners to us. Southeast Volusia Manufacturing and Technology Coalition. I apologize, I left the coalition part off, but we have Team Volusia Economic Development Corporation, Career Source, and various other business advocacy groups that we work with to target specific industries. And oftentimes there's sometimes a misconception about, well, why worry about attracting new businesses to the community? Well, those same businesses that we attract to the community are also going to generate higher wages, which those higher wages then translate into disposable income that consumers then have to patronize local small businesses. And so it's good to have a good, healthy balance of focusing on ways in which we can help our existing companies, but also trying to position ourselves to be attractive to new companies as well. The targeted industries, of course, that we have targeted, which are very consistent with the Southeast Volusia area, is aviation and aerospace, the creative class, including high-tech, light industry, including manufacturing, medical, professional office, corporate headquarters. Although we don't have a significant amount of land available, we do have existing buildings. We have opportunities at the airport. We have opportunities at various city-owned parcels throughout the community, private-owned parcels as we work with our commercial realtors in the community. And certainly, as we attract those companies in, that gives an opportunity for our small business owners who are here to have more business-to-business opportunities that may be presented based on the company that's attracted, as well as the business-to-consumer aspect as well, as I mentioned earlier. And also, we continue to encourage redevelopment of underutilized commercial properties throughout the city. And particularly, you often hear the term CRA, which is an acronym for Community Redevelopment Area. And we do have one of those here in the city of New Smyrna Beach that consists of the US 1 business corridor that we're targeting now based on recent action that we had from the county council to change some of the provisions in our current resolution, which is our regulation basically which we abide by for the CRA. So that gives us an opportunity to provide potential facade and property improvement grants to small business owners as they look to relocate to the US 1 corridor, as well as opportunities for businesses that exist there that want to redevelop their properties. Maybe they're looking to do some type of expansion or something of the sort, and actually add jobs, sustainable jobs. Also, we're analyzing our existing building and land development codes, our permitting and policies relative to your opportunity to expand your footprint at your business. And we encourage, at the same time, while we're not a marketing entity, we have great marketing resources in our community, emphasizing New Smyrna Beach, Visit New Smyrna Beach group that has just presented, Debbie and her team, and Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center, and Volusia County obviously has a great opportunity with promoting small businesses and programs that are aimed at small businesses. And so we just have a wealth of marketing resources that we want to continue to encourage partnerships with and encourage the initiatives of those groups. And also, like I mentioned earlier, technological aspects of the city of New Smyrna Beach. We do have a website. We do have Facebook and Twitter and all these other social media platforms. How can we engage with you more? We do have an interactive business map that highlights every single business in the city of New Smyrna Beach. And there are ways in which we can then leverage what we do have, existing technological advancements, to engage better with the small business community. And also ways in which we can help you with the analytics. For instance, if you're looking to know what's happening in your industry that you're in business in, can we provide that information for you? Can we give you information on your business climate? You know, what are the demographics of the area which you are located in? You know, how can you strategize as a small business to appeal to the broader market base? So that's another aspect. And certainly, this is obvious, the common sense section of the presentation. But what ways do you interact with the city? Clearly, you're going to expand your business from time to time, or you're going to be looking to make some enhancements to your property that you're conducting business at. When you go to become a business or operate as a business in the city of New Smyrna Beach, we do have a business tax receipt process. We engage with you from a business group aspect. We have our chamber members in here and other business advocacy groups that we engage with. Special events throughout our community that are held throughout the year. Code enforcement, public safety, public infrastructure. These are ways in which we interact with small businesses in some form or another. So now, I've done enough talking. And now it's open floor. And we really, at this time, as I mentioned earlier in the forum, we want to hear from you. So we do have capability to hear from you. I have a wireless mic. Lewis, our outstanding audiovisual. Yeah, I'm going to get his microphone, or you can use mine. It doesn't matter. So at this time, we're just going to open up the floor. Does anyone? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Not yet. Right now, we're working on the actual grant criteria and what we're going to use for those businesses to qualify for grants. But we do have an amount, but it's going to be more than one program that we're offering, so we're working on developing specific allotments for that. But that will likely be implemented the first of the year. Yes.
Like short-term visitors for like weekends or whatever. What are the projections for the winter residents, coming here? Do you have any indication on
Winter
whether or not the
residents?
snowbirds are going to be here?
Okay, that's a sounds like a Debbie question right there. Let me get her.
One of the slides, sorry, a little muffled here. One of the slides that we showed was the key data research. Through December, we're up about 5% with the condo, single-family home, Airbnb, VRBOs. Going for the first quarter, January through March, it softens a little bit, but that's also with the short-term booking window. So that's why we want to get the pledge out there. We want to keep doing our organic marketing, but I don't have quantitative numbers yet. But if we look at last year, we're going to do better than what we did last year at this point. The spike can affect it. I think the elections are over pretty much today, so hopefully that'll bring some peace for travelers and there's not so much angst in the pent-up demand.
And let me do a plug here, and I'm going to come over to you. But this whole session is being recorded, so you'll be a chance to look at it again.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to hear everybody from the county and city and local levels. It's really informative, and I'm glad to be here. My name is Tina Sabella, and I'm the owner of the Ice Queen truck. So I am a New Smyrna Beach vendor, and I've expanded my business to have 2 additional trucks now, and I do have a pretty aggressive growth and expansion plan, one that involves brick and mortar and also manufacturing. So my question to you is, what's been a concern to me is the city's view of larger businesses coming in, chains and things like that. That's always been a concern from what I hear from everybody here, from small local businesses as well as permanent residents here. The charm of New Smyrna Beach really is not indicative of big box chains and retailers. I know that 44 corridor, and I'm sure US 1 corridor is more attractive to them for things like that. But what is the city's plan as far as limiting that or expanding that? Because there was a property I was looking at that was granted to a big box chain, and we've already got 2 of those one particular chains here. But now I understand that the property I was interested in was granted to another big box chain that already has 2 locations here. So I know that the larger chains do bring things like jobs as well as tax revenue, but that's not what New Smyrna Beach is about. So I would like to know from the city's perspective what their plan is on addressing it, because I know it's a huge concern from small business owners and residents as well.
Well, that's a great question, and I will say, generally speaking, to answer your question, the Economic Development Strategic Plan includes those industries that I've alluded to earlier, and what you're mentioning is the big box retail, and I know that that's something that our commission is going to be reevaluating. I know that's something formula businesses and retailers and striking that delicate balance between what we allow in our community and opportunities that present themselves. So that is something that is an ongoing strategic plan that we are kind of, strategy I should say, that we are constantly looking at to make sure that we're striking the right balance with the existing business owners like yourself that we value, and also those opportunities that present themselves with the big names or the big brands. If anything, we're looking at the creative class, the manufacturers, the high tech, those type of business recruitment more so than we are the big name retailers, so to speak. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. How would you recommend a small business owner find the appropriate building or space?
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that we don't currently. So we got a realtor right there. We got the commercial realtor. Yeah. But really, what we want to do is, and that's actually a great idea, because one of the things I think that we don't have, we often have, we have VoluciaSites.com, .org, I believe, that links up on our city website that provides a list of available commercial properties. But we also have a good partnership with our private sector commercial realtors in order to connect you with those groups and be able to help you find those properties.
So should they call you or go through the website or?
I'm happy to redirect you to the commercial realtors group that we have here. We have a board of realtors. We also have a commercial realtor group that meets regularly, talks about various different properties, and We either get a list of properties ourselves that we can get from those realtors, or we can connect you to those folks in general.
Thank you.
Yes. Chelsea, I think. Yes. Okay.
Thanks, Chris, again for organizing this. I know you have a lot on your plate since joining the team in August. I know Brian and I and Cindy Flanagan proposed the idea of a small business kind of temporary advisory board to the commission. And I feel today after the presentations, seeing like the Visit NSB is now doing a Pledge to Protect window decal, kind of similar to the mask up. I feel that there may be some overlap due to maybe miscommunication amongst the small business organizations or visitor bureau, and perhaps it could be like a temporary task force within just the city, so that we have this constant line of communication between things like the chamber, the city, Visit NSB, CSHD, and FABA, so that we're working together as a community to have the strongest resources, and that there isn't overlap or kind of overlap in resources, if that makes sense. So that's just one idea I'll propose for discussion. And another thing with Debbie's presentation and Visit NSB, we constantly are talking about, and I think the perception of New Smyrna Beach is that we're busy, and we see all these people at the beach and on Flagler Avenue especially. But I think from a small business perspective, after closing my brick and mortar to the Florida local, is that we're having this disconnect of driving those day visitors to the small businesses other than Flagler Avenue and some of these main larger kind of small businesses in town. So what can we do as a collaborative group in the community to continue to drive those day visitors from Orlando and surrounding communities in Florida to get them into our small businesses other than Flagler Avenue, maybe Canal Street? I know it's been pretty relatively slow from talking to those small businesses as well. So that to me is a continually ongoing problem. And I don't know if there's really a solution to that, but I think that is something that is an important topic for debate, of driving those day trippers or weekend visitors. I think they kind of pack their dinners and lunch and they kind of just stay in their VRBOs or Airbnbs or hotels. And that's kind of what I saw having a brick and mortar at the Florida local, as well as talking to other small businesses. So I'll give it to Brian. Pass it over.
Well, no, that's a great point, Chelsea. Those great points, actually. We certainly don't want to appear duplicative, so to speak, with what we're offering. But I think that a lot of times we have there are some strengths that everyone has, some weaknesses, and I think collaboration is key. And so I think that's probably why sometimes it appears more duplicative because of that. Because we're trying to collaborate, we're trying to say, okay, well, you're stronger than we are in this area, and that's why you have, multiple groups. But you have some great points. We certainly want to take those into consideration. Yes, sir.
Hello. All right, Chris, thank you very much for helping organize this. And I think that our community's done a really good job at trying to stay ahead of this COVID thing. And so I want to touch on that point a little bit. I think that consumer confidence is going to continue to be a massive problem, not only for local businesses, but all businesses throughout the world. So clear and consistent messaging of what we expect businesses to do, what we expect consumers to do, is going to help drive people back to restaurants, to hotels. It's going to help boost that confidence. So I definitely want to acknowledge the city's effort to have a mask mandate, even though there's no fine or penalty or anything. I think it just does send that clear message that's needed, that when you come to New Smyrna Beach, we expect you to be safe. We expect businesses to help keep you safe. So I definitely want to encourage everybody to use these on your windows because it does help send that message. And it's like kind of New Smyrna-y, with a little shark. It's really cool, I think. Chelsea made it over here, so props to you. The other thing is, I know the city doesn't wish to exist as a marketing arm for businesses, and nor should it, but I do think that the city could help facilitate collaboration between different sorts of businesses that can help others. For example, our business, Yopon Brothers, is a manufacturing business and an agricultural business, but it's also an e-commerce business. So we have a skill set that is related to selling things online to consumers all over the world. And I think that's an important thing for local businesses to consider doing. If you don't have an e-commerce component, you should think about doing it. And if you don't know how, or you don't know where to start, there are people in our community that can help offer some mentorship in that field. So maybe the city could try and put those types of people together, businesses that need that sort of services with just people maybe like us or Chelsea or anybody else that can maybe provide some advice or some guidance on that issue. And then the last thing, and then I swear I'll stop talking, is to the previous point about the formula business issue. Just a reminder, there was a petition that did get 5,000 plus signatures in a short period of time that was proposing some sort of regulation of formula businesses in the city of New Smyrna Beach that ended up focusing on the historic corridors. So not necessarily the big commercial areas, like 44, but protecting that charm, that quality of life that we enjoy here in New Smyrna is really, I think, continues to be a really key issue that's going to affect everyone. So I know the city was going to take it up, then COVID happened and everything, kind of fell by the wayside. So I definitely would like to see that brought back to the forefront. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. And yes, it is something that we are going to bring to the forefront again.
Thank you. My name is Rose Traub. I own Assisted Living Made Simple on US 1. I also have rental property on US 1. My concern is for our seniors. I'm not seeing any housing available for them, any affordable housing. We're building apartments and we're selling condos, and our seniors are coming to this community because they vacationed here and they want to live here, but there's nowhere for them to live. What are we doing as a city to make a plan for our seniors?
It's a great point, and I think one of the things that we are doing in the historic West Side, we've completed a couple of senior housing duplexes that are under construction right now off of Dimick, but there is also a low-income housing tax credit being pursued right now by our partnership with New Smyrna Beach Housing Authority, where we are actually supporting a project that is going to go in over on the Green Lawn area. We're actually going to be doing an upcoming tour of one that is close to what we're going to be looking to partner with the Housing Authority to develop a senior housing development there off of Green Lawn and Enterprise in the historic West Side. So that's going to be an opportunity to address that need.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay, we have one in the back.
One back here.
And thank you all for your time. I know we, again, want to be conscious of that. Yes.
Thanks very much. My name is Rhea Walsh, and I've just been in NSB for 1 year. I guess my question is really, and it kind of gets to the little bit of the big box, it gets to COVID and the impact to small businesses, but with the new referendum of increased wages, minimum wages, that's going to have an impact that's going to hit as well across the years of big boxes trying to come in, COVID still affecting the businesses. Have you guys thought about how you're going to work with small businesses to help them kind of absorb that and figure out ways to stay in New Smyrna Beach and not just kind of fall away because the costs are too high?
No, absolutely. I mean, that is something that we're constantly working with business groups to kind of talk through, to dialogue about how we can strike that balance as far as what we're permitting and what we're allowing to, again, come into our community from that size standpoint. We do recognize in the free market, there's obviously going to be big industries, smaller businesses at the same time. But again, it's about striking the right balance. I think right now, again, our focus has been on more manufacturing technology, not those. Again, I think it sounds like you're talking about more retail. Is that correct? Or yes. Yes. And that's something that we want to hear from you on what your ideas are for us as well. So what do you propose from that standpoint? What do you see as a way that the city could just one? I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I think that creating increase, because costs are going to increase, I'm sorry. Because costs are going to increase. So, the restaurant that you went to is, going to increase their costs. The store you went to is going to have to increase their costs. And maybe it's about how do we market that better or do things around visiting NSB that don't detract from the small businesses kind of getting absorbed and not being able to survive.
Understood. And again, I think that's part of that conversation from a strategic standpoint as we look at future land use, and where we're taking things. Obviously, we're at a good time for that because we're actually going to be looking at a comp plan amendment, and we're talking about commercial overlays and things of that nature with partner cities and in the region. So there are opportunities, I think, that are going to help that issue very much. And I think the grant opportunities for those who are happy to be in the CRA district, that's going to be helpful as well to help those businesses, from a standpoint of attracting more customers to their particular business as a small business. And for us to always continuously encourage local support of our small businesses. Yes.
Have you considered combining free parking passes for the next visit?
I'm sorry, sir, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, sorry. Have you considered maybe a combination of free parking passes on the beach or other places for your next visit? If you visit one of the local restaurants or stores and spend a certain amount of money, that could be like an incentive for people to not only go to restaurants, but also come back for another visit. Do you have input into that, or a combination with the parking fees?
With parking is always been a subject, I think, at times, and so that is something that we are exploring. I mean, I think we did the temporary waiver of some fees that we were charging in the previous fiscal year to businesses for a period of time, but there are other ways. I mean, that's a unique idea that I think that we can certainly explore.
$20 a pop.
Yeah. Being that it is the county, we don't have any jurisdiction over that aspect of it, but that is something that we do work with the county, and that's my point, and that is something that we could possibly explore on their end. I mean, that's something that they're willing to entertain. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Well, I'll fast forward here. I have my contact information up front. You're welcome to take my business card. It's up there by the sign-in. And please, if you will, sign for the event. We want to be able to follow up with you, especially those of you that had questions or comments and things that you would like to see us address. The intent was what we're getting right now. This is the best part of the forum, is hearing from you. And obviously, we appreciate your input, your thoughts, your comments, because again, any way that we're slowing you down, we want to make sure that we eliminate that as much as we can, or at least mitigate it, lessen the impact to you as a small business so that you can be successful and ultimately New Smyrna Beach can be successful. Well, everyone, I do want to take the time to thank you for being here. Don't forget that we have the hand giveaways for the window decals for the mask up. If you have a brick and mortar business and you would like to take one, please feel free to take one. And also we have other information on those two. Visit New Smyrna Beach's table, the City of New Smyrna Beach's table. If you would like to take anything, feel free to do so. And losing a little tone. But we do thank you for coming. Have a great Friday afternoon, and Friday day. Thank you so much for coming.